Hello guys, welcome back once again. So in this tutorial, we are going to work on the post details fragment. So whenever an online user wants to see his own post details, then he will just click here on any picture he wants to see the details, and then we will redirect, or you can send the user to that page. So for that, here we have inside our fragments, we have this. Okay, we have not yet created that fragment. So let's just create that fragment. So right click on this fragment and new, and we have fragment, blank fragment. Now first of all, make sure to uncheck these two, okay, which says include fragment and include interface callbacks. And then let's give it name as a post details fragment, and then click finish. So our post detail fragment file is created successfully. Here you can see it. This is the XML file for it. And let's just close the remaining activities. Remaining fragments that on which we work in the previous tutorials. So the Gradle build is running for the fragment that we just created. Let's wait for it also. So now it is completed successfully. Now let's just minimize this. And first of all, make sure to change this RAM layout to the relative layout. And then what we're gonna do is we move this thing from here. And now what we want is basically to add here an app bar, or you can say a toolbar. So for that, what we wanna do is just for the time saving, go to the fragment notification.xml file, and from here, you can just copy this app bar whole code, okay? Up to here. Just copy this, and here it adds copy, and paste here. Here you can see it. Now instead of notifications, here we can say photo. And the next thing what we want is basically after this app bar layout, we need to add a, come here again and just copy this recycler view, and then close this and come back here and paste that here. Now make sure to change the ID of this first. So this is our recycler view, post underscore details. And it must be match parent web content and margin from all side 5 kp. And now let's just add this recycler view on our post detail fragment. So what we're gonna do is here inside our, okay, first of all, make sure to do this one thing and return the view. And then, now here we can say, let us give it name as recycler view, and it is of type recycler view. Recycler view equals to view dot find view by ID or dot ID dot. Now let's just quickly copy the ID of it, which is this one, okay? Copy it and then come here, and we have to paste that ID here. Recycler view dot set has fixed size to true. Linear layout manager to be of type linear layout manager context. Okay, in Kotlin we do not pass the context to it. Just write like this, okay? We say dot set layout manager dot layout manager linear layout manager. Make sure to initialize this instead of that we can say linear layout manager, equals to, we have to initialize it and then pass the context to it. Sorry for that. Now we have already our post adapter where basically which we basically write the code for displaying the post on our home fragment. So we will be using the same thing. We have to pass parameters to that. But first of all, what we're going to do is come here to the profile fragment. Now from here, we need to copy post list. Instead of this, we have our home fragment, where we are basically writing the exact code, which is our post list, okay? This one, and our post adapter. So just copy both of these, Control C, and come back here and just paste that here. And why it is showing this error? Okay, first of all, let me just check this. I think by mistake on the home fragment, I forgot to do something here, okay? It is the cycle view home. And it is the cycle view home. But it is showing a bar layout. What is the idea of it? Have bar layout. If you see these red lines, okay, it is not an error. If you run the application, it will not display because these are the same IDs. All you will need is, let's just clean our project. And hopefully these errors will be gone. Now these are not the errors. It is just that your project is not basically refreshed. The build project again. It still appears red, but anyways, it will not cause an error, okay? Because we have given the same ID to it, and I don't know why, but anyways, just leave it. This is not an error, okay? When I run the application, you will see it. So anyways, also let's create a string type variable, in which you will store basically our post ID. So we just give it name as post ID, string, and let's just initialize it with another. This is a string. Sorry for that, okay? String equals to. Now first here we have to create a function that must read all the post, and then now the post basically, which is relative to the post ID, that is on which the user click. That is, let's say, other user click on this picture, then by using that ID, which we will pass now by using the shared preferences, okay? So, using that ID, we can read the post and add it to our post list, which is basically. So, I think we have already created this kind of function, which is on our home fragment. You can see this retrieve post. And here we are doing it for all the posts. Copy this whole function. And we will modify it according to our needs. Paste it here. And then here we can say dot child post dot child and pass the post ID to it. So we can check that we are making the post list clear. Then we can say snapshot, which is basically what this PO object here. Post list dot add post. Then cut this code from here and make sure to remove this for loop from here. And add this non-asserted call. So we are just retrieving that single post we are added to the post list and notified it as set change. Now the next thing is to pass this to the post adapter. So for that, what we're going to do is first let's just call this method here, which is retrieve post, single post basically, that is. And now here after this, we can say post list equals to array list, and in that just copy this line of code also from here instead of writing it. Copy it, just come here and paste it. So post adapter, post list as array list post, and then we set the adapter. Now this is done. Now the next thing is how, it will know, how we will pass this ID from here, from our profile fragment to this post details fragment. So we will do that using shared preferences. So first of all, let's say when a user click on this picture, as you know that each item carries its own ID. So we have to share that ID using the shared preferences. So for that, let's just go to our profile fragment. All the actions of it are in our adapter, which is by the name my images adapter. And here, if a user click on the image, so we can say holder dot post image dot set on click listener, then we can say, well, editor equal context dot get shared preference. Let's context dot mode private dot edit. Sorry, do not give any extra space here. And alongside with that, as you know that here we need to receive a ID for that specific post. So for that, what we're going to do, we can just say dot put string, and we can pass this by post ID, comma, and that ID is basically stored inside our. So we can say post dot get post ID. We can say editor dot apply. Then put these two round brackets, and we can say context as fragment activity dot get support manager dot begin transaction. It is get support fragment manager. Okay, get support fragment manager dot begin dot replace or dot id dot fragment. Now here we have to use the fragment. I just forgot the idea of it. If you come here to the activity man, then we have this fragment container. Okay, so just copy that and paste that fragment container ID here. Put a comma here. Post details fragment. Put two on brackets, and after this we can write dot commit. Let's just move it to next line so that we can see the code easily. Okay. Here you can see it now. And then on our post detail, we have to get that. So here we can say, well, reference is equals context column dot shared references. It is get shared reference context dot mode private. If the preferences is not null, not equals to null, then this dot profile. Sorry, we have our post ID. We have give the name post ID for displaying the post picture. Perfect. Dot get. And here we have to pass the same. This ID, which is post ID. Okay. Comma. None. So yeah, that's it. Now Let me tell you one thing again. I mean, here you can see this fragment container. It appears that in your case, this will not be red. I mean, it will not display an error. Now, in my case, the reason is that I have Windows 10 and it is from last 1 year. I have not just update my window. So maybe it is because of that, because it is not getting the reference. Here you can see it, unresolved reference. But if we run the application, we will not get any error, okay? So in your case, this will not be appearing. But if it is, then don't worry, you just run the application. It will not crash your app, okay? Let's just run the app. Maybe it is because of my window. It is, too much loading. And when I refresh and rebuild the project earlier. But anyways, let's just wait for the header build. It is running now. Here you can see installing now. And the app is about to install. Here you can see the app is running now successfully. And you can see that because of this, it do not, crash the app or no error occur here, okay? Just because of this. Tonight I will just update my Windows 10. New one. So anyway, the app is running now successfully. Let's just go to the profile. Here you can see these are the images and let's just click on this image. Here you can see it, okay? Let's just go back, click on this one. Here you can see it. Wow, this is incredible. We just go back. Okay, here you can see it. You can say that this is incredible. So yeah, that's it for this video. And now in the next, here you can see it, okay? So that's it for this video. And in the next video, what we will be doing is that we will work on this save icon. That is, a user will basically from here, a user will save any picture if he wants from his followers, okay? That is, let's say from Tony or from Parker. When our online user click on the save icon, then it will be stored here inside to the saved pictures of this user. So yeah, that's it for this video. And see you guys in the next video. Bye for now. Hello guys, welcome back. And in this video tutorial, what we are going to do is to retrieve and display the total number of posts here, okay? That is, let's say in this case, Muhammad Ali is an online user and he has uploaded these 4 pictures. So here 4 will be, you have to retrieve that total number and display that here. That is, let's say 4 in this case. And the second thing which you will be doing is that to allow user to save any picture. That is, let's say Tony has uploaded this picture, okay? So Muhammad Ali, if Muhammad Ali wants to save this picture, then he will just click on this save icon. So let's just do that. So first of all, in order to display the total number of posts, you have to go to the profile fragment, and here let's just go to the bottom. Let's create a separate function. We can give it name private fun, and let's give it name as get total number of posts. Okay, get total number of posts. This is our function. Now in here, first of all, let's create a reference to our post node, which contain all our posts. So we can just say create a variable by name post reference, and then we can say firebase.getInstanceReference.child post. Okay, and then the second thing is we can add a value event listener for that, since we will be retrieving. So we can say post reference dot add value event listener object colon value event listener. Make sure to put 2 curly brashes, and then in here we have 2 built-in function, which is the on data change. Okay, make sure to remove the comment, and the second one is the on cancel, remove the to do comment. And then inside this on data change, we can say that if, let's give this name as data snapshot, okay, which is of type data snapshot, and basically this represents our post node. So we can say if post node exists, which means that we can write here that is if data snapshot dot exists, then what we gonna do? We are going to say that first let's create a variable by the name post counter and let's initialize it with 0, okay? And then by using for loop, we can say that if, snapshot in data snapshot dot children. And now inside your post node, what we are going to do, we are going to add a if condition and we have to check if the online user ID matches with this publisher ID, then it means that this post belongs to an online user and we have to check all of these child and then we will increment our this post counter variable. So for that here, we have to say that if, by the way, first of all, we can say our post model class has the getter and setter, so we can say snapshot dot get value. First we have to get the value using our post model class. So class dot java. Okay, so we can say if post dot get publisher becomes equals to the profile ID, which is an online user ID. If this is equals to the profile ID, make sure to add this check here, okay? This double exclamation marks. So if this is equals to the profile ID, we have to just increment our post counter variable. So you can say post counter plus this increment, okay? So then we have to display this on our text view. So for that, we have to go to the IDs and you have to check that what is the ID for that profile. Then if we zoom a little bit, I just want to click on this so that we can move to it, okay? This is with our text view and the ID for this is total post. So just copy this ID, come here and then paste that here. Make sure to import this by pressing Alt Enter, okay? And then we can say dot text equals to, let's give some space first, and then we can, by using this concatenation sign, we can display our post counter on it. So that's it. And now let's just test our application. Let's just run it. So the app is running now and let's just see how it works. So let's just go to the first. And it is not, we just forgot to call our this function here. Here you can see it has not, we have not called this function above here at the top in our own create. Sorry about that, okay? Let's just call it. After this we can say get, what is the function name? Get total number of posts, okay? And now let's just run it again. Sorry for that. So the app is running now. Let's just go to the profile. And here you can see it, okay? Total number of posts is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, that's it. Now the next thing which we are going to do in this tutorial is to allow user to save any picture from the timeline. Okay, to get saved pictures. You need to click on it and it will display it. But for this video, we are going to enable this button and to save that saved pictures in the database. So come here and here we have to go to our, since this is our post adapter. So for that we have to go to our adapter module and here we have our post adapter. Close this file fragment XML file and just come down here. Here we have our button. First, let me show it to you. This is our save button. So how to add an action on it? An event on it. We have to go to our on bind. Yeah, here. After this, we can say that holder dot save button. If a user click on it, then what we gonna do? We can say start on click listener. And then in here, if a user click on it, what we gonna do? We want to save that specific post or picture, so we do not give extra space here, okay? So we want to save this inside the database and we will create a separate node for that which will be by the name saves, okay? So let's just create a reference to our database quickly. Just for the time saving, I'm going to copy this thing from here. Come back to the post adapter and then in here we can say Firebase database get instance reference child and the child will be our saves node, a new node that we will create now. And under that parent node, we will save all the saved pictures which will be saved by different users. So we can say .child saves .child, by using the specific user ID. So Firebase user .uid, then .child post. We have to save that post ID alongside, under the online user ID, that is how much posts have been saved by this user, okay? So we can say post.getPost ID. And we can say that set value to true. Let's just give it some proper shape so that we can understand it easily, okay? So one thing which is we need to think here is that, let's say a user will save one picture for the first time. Let's say I just click on this picture, okay? It will be saved into database, and it will, the thing is that how, if for the second time, let's say if a user click again on this button, then what we will do in that case? Let's say for the first time I click it, it's saved. And then for the second time, if I want to click it, then it will delete that saved picture from my saved picture, okay? Just like we do for the likes. If we click it again, then the likes gone, okay? If we click it, then it is liked, okay? Just like this. So for that, we're using two icons. You can see here now it is empty, which means that if a user click here, then first, we have to maintain the user interface so that the user can know that the picture is now saved or it is not saved. So if the icon is like this, that means that the user, if the user want to save it, then he can save it or she can save it, okay? But if it is already clicked, then you will display another icon, which will be the same icon, but it will be failed. Now let me tell you, we have that icon in our driver folder, and let's just write the code for it, then you will see it. I will show it to you guys, okay? Don't worry about that. So for that, what we need to do is to maintain the UI and also that thing. So we have to create a separate function that just got to be bot, and we can create that function by the name, let's say, check saved status. So in this method, we will write the code that will check the status of an image. That is, if it is saved already or if it is not saved. Okay, on the basis of which we can display the icon, and also if, to remove it back if a user has already saved any picture. So it will receive two parameters. The first one it will have is the post ID, which will be of string type, and the second one you will have an image view, which will be of image view type. We will pass these two parameters to it when we call this method, okay? So the second thing, we need to create a reference here. So let's just copy this reference here. Or if you want, you can also initialize it globally. In the one above, but I will just copy it. Come back here. And let's first say this is our saved reference equals to Firebase database get instance .child save Firebase user.uid. We need that up to here, okay? Sorry. Just remove these two things from here. Now the next thing is, since we are storing it using this reference, which is our saves, okay, if you click on the save button, so we are now using the same reference, we are going to retrieve the status for each and every image for an online user. So we can say save reference dot add value event listener object value event listener. Then we have two functions, which is on data change. The second one is our on cancelled. Now inside our on data change, we can say that if the snapshot, this PO dot exist, or we are checking for the specific post, so we have to pass the child post ID dot exist. So if this post exists under the ID inside our save node, then what we're going to do in that case? In that case, we have to... Now this basically means that the image is already stored inside the database for this specific user, which is an online user basically. So we have to update the resource for that so the user can know that I have already saved this specific picture. So you can say set image resource or dot. We are now basically changing the icon. Or dot driver dot. We have an icon by the name save large icon, this one. Okay, which you can see here. This icon, which is a filled icon. And after that, also we have to say that image view dot tag equals to saved. We are updating the tag of this image view, which we will use above, okay? Oh, sorry, we move this double equals. So it means that the image is already saved. Now in the else statement, else means that the image is not saved yet, so that if the user wants, the user can save the image. So for that, we will display our unfilled icon, which is in the drivable folder by the name save unfilled large icon, which is this one, okay? Or default icon, which is already displaying on the timeline, okay? And then we have to update the tag for this to save. Now on the best of these two tags, here we can perform the operation. So let's just come here and here it is. Here. First we have to check the tag, so cut this code, Control X. Okay, now we have to add a condition first here, if. Now before writing this condition, let me just call that method, okay? Because this is, you have to understand this. Let's just call that method, which is by the name check save status. And it needs two parameters, I already told you that. Which we are already passing to that. The first one is the post ID. So in order to pass that, we have to say post.get post ID, comma, and the second one is our image view, which is our save button. So we can say that holder dot save button. Okay, this is then our image view button basically, which you can check here also where we define it. Save button is of image view, and that image view are basically we are passing to our method to this function. Okay, the first parameter is the post ID and the second one is our image view, and we are setting the tags for it here. So by using that save button, which is our image view, so you can say here that is if holder dot save button dot tag become equals to save, it means that the user can save the picture has not already saved, and else, which means the picture is already saved. So here we will write a code for the removal of that specific saved picture. Again, user click the button. You will understand it more easily when we run the application. Okay, that is, I have explained the code, but when you see the testing of the application at the end of this video, then you will more easily you will understand everything when you then compare the output with this code. Okay, so if here we have to paste our code, which we earlier cut it, okay, which is Firebase database get instance for storing the that save image, and then just cut and paste that here. Copy and paste that here also inside this else, and in the else we have to remove it. So post.get post ID, and then you can say remove value. That's it. Let's just run the application. Everything is okay now. And alongside with that, also let's just check the database also. So the app is running now successfully, okay? Now let me tell you, a user can also save his own pictures too. And also an online user can save his pictures from his friends. That is, let's say from Tony, okay? So if I click here you can see save node is created, okay? And if we expand this node, now this is the online user ID. That is this person has saved only one picture now, and the ID of that post is this one. If I show you, then R7 is an online user, which is Muhammad Ali. Here you can compare the ID, okay? And this is the post ID, which is LZ1S. If I show you inside this, then this is LZ1S, which is this post, okay? Which has a description, Leo, okay? If I show you, then here you can see the description is Leo. So this picture is saved here. Now, if we save another one, let me just show you. Let's just save another picture from Parker. Here you can see it, okay? Another post has been saved under the online user ID, which is this one. So now it means that this online user, this person has saved two pictures, which are these two. And also, if a user click back this, okay, then here you can see got deleted. The same is for the here. The user click this. Now it means here one thing you need to notice is that this picture is not saved, so it is an unfilled icon, okay? And here you can see this one is saved, so that's why it gets filled. If you click here, then here you can see it got deleted. Now let's just click it again, so that this specific post has been saved to the ID of, to this person's profile. Now in the next video tutorial, what we will be doing is that we will retrieve and display all the saved pictures, and we will display here, if a user click on the save icon, then we will display the saved picture just like we display the uploaded pictures, okay? So yeah, that's it for this video, and see you guys in the next video. Bye for now. Hello guys, welcome back. So in the previous tutorial, as you know that we allow a user to save pictures from his friends. Here you can see we have this user whose ID is this one, which is Muhammad Ali. And this user saved 3 pictures. Now in this tutorial, we are going to retrieve the saved pictures for all the users. There will be, let's say, millions of users, just like you guys see in Instagram, okay? So we have to, when a user come to the profile page, when the user run application on his phone, and he click on the save picture, then we will display the saved pictures here, just like we display the uploaded pictures. And as you know that, if you come to the profile fragment.xml file, this is a recycler view for the displaying the uploaded pictures. And this another one is for displaying the saved pictures. We will use this now. Okay, so just come here to the profile fragment.kt file, and we will just, now before let me tell you, we will we will do the same thing just to edit for the uploaded pictures, okay? So instead of writing the code, that is why the reason sometimes I copy paste the code and do little bit changes in that. Okay, so just write a comment here, recycle view for uploaded image, and then down below, just to differentiate between this, so this is all for displaying the saved images. So instead of writing this code again, okay, I will just copy paste this here, and we will do changes according to our saved images. So anyway, let's just copy it. We can just paste that here. Now first of all, make sure to replace this upload with saved, okay? Because this is a recycler view for saved images. So copy this with, replace it with this first of all, okay? Also here, just do exactly as I am doing here, okay? Now the next thing is, this is our linear layout manager, so we can give it linear layout manager 2, okay? Make sure to do the changes here, and it is context 3 linear layout manager. Make sure to change this also here. Then we need to create an array and also an instance of our images adapter class. So just come here to the top, and let's create a new instance of our my images adapter. So this is my images adapter for the saved images. So we just give this name to it, and we will need a list. So this will be post list for displaying. To use save inside this list our all. When we retrieve the saved images, we will save in it, and we will need a list, another one. Let's give it name as my saved images, my saved ing list string. Make sure that the type of this one will be string. Now let me tell you a little bit before we proceed. In this list, we are going to save the keys, okay, of the post. As you know that this user has 3 posts, okay. Let's say there are 100 more further users, okay. So for each user there will be different keys which belongs to different posts, okay. If I show you this one, which is LZ1R, which is this post LZ1R, okay. So this post ID is this one, okay. So now in the list which the name which is this one, okay, my saved images, and the type of this is string. So we are going to retrieve these keys for each individual, and we have to save these keys in this list, which is my saved image. And then on the basis of that keys, we are going to retrieve the post data, okay? So let's just do that quickly. But before we proceed, we have to do these changes according, for our saved images. Just come down here. You have to set our recycler rule here and also to define our list. So we can say post list and change this to our new instance, which is my images adapter saved img. So my images adapter, we have to pass 2 parameters. The first one is the contact, and the second one is our list, which is by the name post list saved. So yeah, that's it. Now let's just create a function in which we will retrieve our keys and the saved images. So let's just call that function here. You will create this now by the name my saves, okay. Just copy it and come to the bottom, and here we can say private fun my saved image, which is our array list. So we can say array list. Now we need to create a reference to our this node, which is saves, okay. So we can say save reference equals from Firebase database get instance dot reference dot child saves. Let's grant this in so that we can see it easily, and let's move to the next line. So we can create a reference to our, let's just pass the online user ID to it, which we can get by just typing Firebase user dot UI. And then on the basis of that, as you know that, let me tell you one thing. Saves, and then inside that save node for each person, we are specifically, let's say I'm an online user, my ID is this one, okay. If there are other users, let's say John, okay, so John will have their own unique ID, and under that ID we have the post keys. So we are basically now retrieving these keys, and that's why we say Firebase user dot ID. So let's say I'm Muhammad Ali, I'm an online, so it will get my ID, and it will go under the save node, and under my ID there will be post keys which we have to retrieve and save it in our list. So we can say save reference dot add value event listener object colon value event listener curly braces. Then as you know that we have 2 built-in functions, which is on data change, remove the comment. The second one is our on canceling comment, and inside our on data change, let's give it name as data snapshot, okay. So you can say if data snapshot dot exist, which means if the user ID exists, if the user has saved any picture, then by using for each, so you can say snapshot in data snapshot dot children. My saved image as array list string put this here, and then dot add snapshot dot key. So it will get one by one each key, and it will store it inside our this my saved ing array list, the type of which is string. and it must not be null, then add this non-alert call here. And now the next thing is, once we have, it will get, as you know that it will get one by one each key. And once we have all these keys, we have to create another function, and by using these keys, which is stored inside this mySaved image array list, we have to retrieve the data for that specific post. Okay, that is, let's say for this one, LZ1R, we have the data here inside the post node, which I show you, that is the description, the post ID, post image, and publisher. The same for the second post key, which is LZ1S, and then the third key, which is LZ21. Okay, these are the post ID. So we have to now get that post data according to these keys. So let's create another function by the name read saved images data. Now we have to create this function, so which is read saved images data. Click here and we'll create function inside our profile fragment, and this is the function. So here, as you know that, just as I told you that we have to create a reference now to our post node, and on the basis of that keys, you have to retrieve the post information. To create a reference, let's just copy this post reference from here. Since you know that we have already written it, so let's just save the guide. So post reference to the post node, and then we can say post reference dot add relevant listener checked relevant listener on data change, and the second one is on cancel. Now in here our own data change, let's change name for it to data snapshot. If data snapshot dot exist, if that post key exists in the post node, then first of all we have to make sure, to clear our list if there is anything already saved in it. So we can say that is post list saved as array list post dot clear for snapshot in the snapshot dot children snapshot dot get value post model class dot java for id. In now this id is the key that we are getting. Okay, so we can say inside our list, which is by the name post list C, our list which is by the name mySaved saves ing. So the keys which we store in this, the keys are you are storing in this list. Okay, here you can see it. So we have to get each key from our this list by using this ID. We can give any name to it, that is the key, let's say. So for key in this one, okay, and this is our list, okay, in which we store the keys in our first function. So now is the time to get each key from it one by one, and by using that key, we have to retrieve the information for each key. So we can say, and make sure we add here the non-alert call, and then here we can say that if post dot get post ID becomes equals to this key, then we have to say that post list saved as array list dot add post, and then after this you can say my image is adapter save dot notifier data set change. Add here non-alert call. Also add that here and here. Now we have to set up event, a click listener on our saved button, or we can say that icon. So for that, this one. If user click on this button. Then we will display our saved recycler view in which we will display saved images. And if a user click on this uploaded icon, uploaded button, then you will display the user uploaded pictures here. So for that, what we're gonna do is all we're gonna need is click here on this one. This is our image button, okay? And the idea is this one. Let's go to the profile fragment and come here to the on create view. So let's just initialize our button here after this. So we can save up. Uploaded images btn, and the type of this is image button. Okay, here you can see it, image button. And then we have to provide the ID to it, so we can say uploaded images equals to view dot find view by icon or dot id dot my, or what is the ID for this button, which is my grid view button, images grid view button. So pass that here. Then we can say uploaded images button dot search on click listener. So if a user click on it, we have to invisible out recycler view saved images recycler view. So we can say dot visibility, and the visibility will be view dot gone for it. And our other one, which is our, we have to make sure that the visibility for our upload images is set to visible. And then we have our we have to access our other button. Just copy this as that here, and this is for displaying the save images button, image button. And make sure to do the changes here first, okay, and remove the ID for it. Let's give it its own ID, which is images save btn. So images save btn, visibility for the save will be visible, and we have to make the visibility for the uploaded images to gone. And by default, we just copy this and inside come here. Okay, first of all, let me check one thing. Above this one, we have to make sure that by default, if a user come here to the profile page, then we must display the uploaded pictures by default. And then if the user click on the save button, then it will display the saved images. And then again, if you click uploaded button, then it will display the uploaded images of a user. So yeah, that's it. Now we have to test the application. So let's just do that. So the app is running now successfully. Now let's just go to the profile page, and here you can see by default it display the uploaded pictures of a user. Okay, now if we click on the save button, then it must display the saved images, but anyways it is not displaying. We have to check our code, and the reason for this is one thing. We just forgot to change the ID for our this recycler view, which is for the saved images. Here you can see it is the previous one, which is for the uploaded pictures. Okay, if you come here to the profile, then make sure to copy the ID for this recycler view, which is recycler view saved pics. Saved pic. Okay, so copy this ID and make sure to replace it with this one for the displaying the saved images. So remove it and paste that here. And the second change is basically this one. Okay, here you can see we have passed the adapter which belongs to for displaying our, we are using this instance for displaying our uploaded images. Okay, this is the instance which belongs to this recycler view. So we have to change here. By mistake we forgot to change this to our my images adapter for the saved img. This one. So once you do these changes, let's just run the application again, and this time it will work 100%, inshallah. So the app is running now once again, and now if we go to the profile, then by default it displays the uploaded pictures. Let's just click on this, and here we go. Yeah, this is exactly what you want. Now, I mean, we have these three pictures. If I show database, then here you can see served, and Muhammad Ali is the online user, which is me, and I have served these three pictures. Here you can see it. Now, if you go to the home page, let's just remove this picture, okay, and then let's go back. Go again to the served. Here you can see the image is gone. Let's just serve one more picture from some other user. Let's say Parker, this one. If I save it, go to the profile, and then serve pictures. Here you can see it. The new pictures appear here. I mean at the start. It is in descending order, which means the new picture appear first. So here you can see it. I mean, that is incredible. That is really nice. That is so cool. So yeah, that's it for this video. And now in the next video tutorial, what we'll be doing is that we will start work on the stories. So that's it for this video, and see you guys in the next video. Bye for now. Hello guys, welcome back. So in the previous video tutorial, as you remembered, I told you guys that in this video tutorial we will work on the stories. I mean, we will start working on the stories. But before start working on the stories, first of all, let's complete some important features, which are basically the... Here you can see we have different posts, and there are different likes. I mean, different users like your friends. Your different friends have these likes. That is, let's say 2% like this post. But we do not know who are these 2 persons, okay? So now we are going to allow a user, that is an online user, if he click on it, I mean if he or she click on this likes, then it will display these 2 persons. Similarly for each and every post, there is, let's say 3 people like this post. So who are these 3 people? We have to display that when user click on it. And the same is for the, if you come here to the profile, the same is for the followers and following. We will display the follower list and the following list, not for an online user, but also for each and every user. That is, let's say if you search for any person, then it will direct you to that person's profile. And we will display for each and every user the followers and following list, and also the, then say the likes, that is who like your post. Now one thing before start implementing these features is that one thing that is common between these are that is we will be using the same user adapter, okay, which we already created. So that is why we keep the code separate. So you can say that this is kind of reusable code. And now we are going to come here to Gendo Studio. Let's create activity, an empty activity, and we will write a reusable code in order to retrieve the likes. I mean the person's information, okay? Same for the following list and the follower list. So let's create an empty activity, and we can give this activity name as show users activity. Like finish. Let's wait for it. So our activity has been created successfully, and I'm going to rename this same activity because I start the name with small English alphabet and it irritates me. So if you do not want to change it, you can just go with it. But first, let me just change the name of it to capital S, because it irritates me. So let's just refresh this. So the name is changed now, okay? Show user activities. Anyways, now for the activities and for the, most for activities name, use capital English alphabets. I mean, it is a good practice. But anyways, I mean, let's first go to the XML file, and then here, what we need to do is first, we need to change this constant layout to the relative layout as usual. And the next thing is to add here a toolbar. Let's parent the content, and let's give ID to it, and also first of all let's add a background to it, and it will be Android attribute window background. Okay, and then the ID for this will be toolbar. Now the next thing is to add here a recycler view where we can display our followers. I mean the not our, but for all. Also the online user followers, followings, and also other people following and followers and the likes. So anyways, I mean we can say recycler view. Let's parent have content. Let's ID to this, and the ID will be recycler cycler view. And one thing is, let's move it lower toolbar, and that's it. Now come here to the show user activity.ready file, and here we need to create two string type variable. Now I'll tell you why we are doing this. Or ID, and it will be of type string, and let's initialize this with a null, and then we need another variable that will be by the name title. Now, as I told you, we will write a reusable code in which if a user click here on this like, okay, then it will move the user to this show user activity, and on that click event, we will pass two things. One will be the ID and the other one will be the title. So when a user come here, then the title we will display here. That is, let's say if a user come from the likes, if a user want to see the likes, then it will display here a title that is likes, and then here will be the profiles of that people who has basically liked the picture. Their picture and username. And same is for the followers. If a user come from here, that is, let's say if a user click here, then it will display here a title followers, and here will be the followers user. That is, in case of Muhammad Ali, there will be these two people who are the followers of Muhammad Ali. So that profile will be displayed here. So we will pass that on that click event. First, let's compute this now. And as I told you, we need to create an instance of our user adapter class. And it will be of type user adapter. And let's initialize this with a null. And the second thing that user adapter needs is basically the list. User list. It will be of type list, and we have to pass the user model class to it, and let's initialize this also with a null. Now these are basically the two parameters that our user class needs. Okay, this is the instance of a user adapter, okay, by this name. And if you come here to the user adapter, it needs basically two parameters. The first one is the context, and the second one is the list, which is basically our this list in which contain our user. But for that, if you come here to the data, then first of all, we need to retrieve the IDs, okay? That is, let's suppose we are working on the likes, okay? So for each online user, for each post, there are different IDs. That is, this post has 3 likes, okay? And these are some users' IDs. So we have to retrieve these keys, or you can say these IDs, which is basically the user IDs. You can test it in the user's node. You can check it in the user node. Just move scroll to the bottom. Here you can see these IDs, okay? So these are the user's ID. So first of all, we have to create a list, a string type list, in which we must first retrieve these IDs for each post. And same for the followers. That is, each person has a list of followers, okay? And same as for the followings. So this user has 2 followers and 2 followings. Here you can see it. So we must, we need now another list in which we will retrieve these keys, which is basically the user IDs, and in case of the likes, the post IDs. Each post ID contain, each post, this is basically the post ID. So each post contain the user ID, that is by whom this photo is being liked, okay, has been liked. So yeah, let's create a list by name user list. And we can create of type list, and it will be of type, I gave it again the same name, not the list, but ID list, okay? As I told you, it contains a list of IDs. So you can give it name as ID list, it is of type list string. And let's initialize this also with a null. Now, once we have this, we have to retrieve these ID. As I told you, we will pass on a click event the ID and title. So we have to obtain this ID and title here. So for that, we can just simply say, intent equals to intent, and then we can retrieve the receive the ID dot get string extra, and we will be using the same ID, which is ID. Make sure to use the same spelling, okay? So that you cannot, so that you will not get confused and the title we will pass by this name, which is title, and we have to display this title that we will pass to our this show user activity. So let's just initialize our toolbar, cast our toolbar here, and it will be of type Android X app compat widget. Sorry. First, let's write the name for it. Okay. And it is of type toolbar Android X toolbar widget. Okay. Find view by ID dot ID dot, the ID for this is toolbar. Set support action bar toolbar support action bar dot set type, and the title will be the title that we will pass to the show user activity, which is stored inside the string type variable title. And hope you know about this, which I already told you guys that in Kotlin you can also pass the title, like you can just say so support action bar dot title equals to title. Now this is basically a string type variable that we are passing to our this show user activity. Support action bar dot set display home as of enable to true. Toolbar dot set navigation on click listener, which means if the user click on the back button, then we want to send the user back just to finish that, okay? So it will just close that activity and it will turn back to the place from where we navigate to that page. That is, let's say, if we click here on this follower, then on that click event we will pass the ID and title to this show user activity. It will receive, we are receiving the ID and title from there, okay? And then we are setting the title. That is, let's say if a user is coming from this followers, and it will display here on this show user activity that is followers, and here will be that user list. And if a user click here on the back button, then it will again come back to this activity. So hope you understand the idea. When we run the application, you will understand it more clearly. Now let's just initialize, add our recycler view here. Type recycler view dot equals to find view by ID or dot ID dot recycler view dot set has fixed size true. Recycler view dot set layout dot layout manager linear layout manager, pass the context, which is this. User list equals to array list. User adapter. The first parameter it needs is the context, which is this, which is showing user activity. And then the second one is our array list, which is user list as array list user. And by the way, if you come here to user adapter, then we have this third parameter, which is fragment, okay? And this is basically for, since this is not a fragment, so that is why we will just pass this false, because we do not need that, okay? So as you know that it's receiving 3 parameters, so we have to pass these 3 parameters to it. So then we can say this dot adapter equals to user adapter. ID list is array list. Now here we need to add a when statement, and it will receive on the basis of title. We will execute, we will run some function, or you can say execute, implement some functions. So if the title is equals to likes, that is, if it is likes, then in that case we want to use this dash arrow operator, okay? Just like this. So we want to execute, implement a function, or you can say we want to execute this function which we will create now by name get likes. If it is equals to following, the title is following, then we want to execute a function which is get following. And if it is equals to followers, then we want to execute a function which will be by the name followers. That we will create now, obviously. And by the way, we are adding one function here that we will need when we implement the stories in the upcoming tutorials. Okay, so let's just add that function also here, and that is basically to display the views of the story. Therefore, displaying the views of the story. So let's just implement that function also. We can give it name as get views. So once we have this, let's just quickly create these method functions quickly. So create function get likes, remove the comment. Also let's just create this second one, create function get following, remove the comment. Let's create this third function, create function get followers, remove the comment, and let's just create this third one, which is get views. So first of all, for the likes, what we gonna do? Let's give some space between. Sorry. So here, come here to the user adapter, and from here I want to check one thing, which is not user adapter. I think it is on our post adapter. And by the way, if you see this red line, okay, in your case it will not be appearing, okay, this red line. It is because of this fragment container. It is not causing any error, but since I think my Windows, I do not update my window from last 6 months, and that is why, it is, you can say, little bit slow. My PC is little bit slow because of that, so it is not getting that reference. But when we run the application, it will execute. In your case, it will not show you this red line, okay? So just ignore this. I just want to tell you guys so that you can know it. Anyways, we have here on the post adapter, we have this function which is by the name number of likes. Okay, just copy this code from inside. Okay, this function which is by the name number of likes. Just copy this function code. Okay, and come back here and paste back here. Now we have to do some changes here. So this is our likes reference, and it is up to the likes node, and we have to pass here the ID. Must not be null. Reference.head event listener. If data snapshot exists, if VO.exists, then what we gonna do? Let's just remove this. Now we are going to retrieve something. First of all, make sure that our ID list is clear if there is anything in it. So we have to clear this dot clear. Sorry. Then by using for loop, we can say a snapshot data pre-0, which is our data snapshot object. Okay, dot children. So we have to get that. Dot a snapshot dot key. And let me tell you, now for each, in order to retrieve the likes, as we know that if you go to the likes, okay, then for likes, we have ID, which is basically the post ID. That is, let's say, if you come here to the home, then each post has their own ID. So that post ID basically contains some IDs, which is the user IDs, or you can say the user keys, user IDs. You can also verify it from the users node. So we have first get these IDs, okay, and we are storing it inside our ID list. So our reference is to this node, which is, let's say, for example, we are now online and we click on this post, okay? So likes.child this, and then this contain these children. That's why we write here that is PO.children, and this PO represents our this reference, which is likes.child ID, the post ID basically. So we are getting key one by one and we are storing it inside our ID list, which are basically these keys, okay? And now once we have these keys, we have to retrieve the information for each of these keys. That is, let's say EN has information here inside our user node. EN is the ID of this person. So we need to retrieve the image and name for that person. So we need to create a function in which we will basically write a code in order to show the users. So let's give it name as show users. Let's create this function. Inside our show user activity, remove the comment, and then here you can say, so for that one thing is, let's go to the user adapter first, and here I want to check something. Not here, let's just go to the search fragment also. And here on our search fragment, we have a function by the name retrieve users. Okay, retrieve users. Just copy this and we will do some change in it, okay? So copy this function, okay, and then close this search fragment, and we have to paste it here inside our show users method function, okay? Then paste that here, and here we need to do some changes according to our need on our show user activity. So we have a reference to the users node, and then we have added a value event listener on it. And first of all, remove this if statement, okay, and then we have to clear our user list, okay, which is here. Just copy this. So you can say that user list as array list dot clear for snapshot in data snapshot dot children value user. And here we need to say for ID in ID list. If user dot get UID become equals ID, then we are going to add this in our user list. Then user adapter dot notify data set change. So that's it. Now the next thing is to display the to get the following, and then we will call once we get the IDs, which are basically for the followings, we have follow node, and then the user ID, and that user ID contains the followers and following. That is, which person followers or following list you want to see. So we have to pass, just like we did for the likes, we have to get these keys, we have to store it, and then on the back of which we can call over this same function, which is by the name show users, okay? So for that, here in our first, let's just implement the following. Just close these extra files and come here to the profile fragment. And on the profile fragment, here we have this function by the name get followings. Here you can see it. You can just copy this code from here and come back to the show user activity and pass that code here, and we will modify it according to our need for displaying the users. So we have to get these IDs for each person. Okay, first, since you are now retrieving the following. So in order to get that, we have a reference Firebase database that instance.ref.child follow.child ID .child following reference.add value event listener. And now remove this, and here we are going to retrieve the IDs, and we have to store it inside our list, which is by the name ID list, which is our this one list. So for that, what we want to do is we can just say that first we have to make it clear. By the way, we can just copy the same code. Okay, just copy it, come here to the get following, and then paste that here. So id list arrays dot clear snapshot, id list arrays dot add snapshot dot key. That's it. And then we call the show user node, just like we did for displaying the likes. I mean the IDs. I mean that users who has liked the post. We are doing the same here for the following and also now for the followers. So for the followers, we just need to come to the profile fragment, and here we have this followers. Okay, get followers function. Just copy the code from here, come back to the show user activity, and then here inside we have to just paste this and ask the ID here, and then remove this if statement from here, and then we just need to paste the same thing here for displaying the followers of a user. And for now, let's just leave our this function empty since we have not implemented the stories. We will work on it once we implement the stories feature. And now let's just go to the profile fragment now, because on our profile fragment, we have this followers and following. So if user click on followers, what we want to do? Let's just get this specific text with displaying this number, okay? So it is here inside our on create view, and let's just go to the XML file for our profile fragment. We have to check the ID for this, which is this one, okay? The ID for this is total followers. So just copy this ID, come back to the profile fragment, and now inside our on create view, here we can say, just move it here. We can say that view dot and then paste that ID dot set on click listener, and then in here I have to write an intent. So we can say, well, intent equals to intent. First we need to pass the context, and the second one is, the page where we want to go. So we want to go to the show user activity class.java. And as you know that we have to pass two things to this activity. The first one is the ID of that person. That is, let's say if you are going from here, then basically we need to pass the ID of this profile. That is Muhammad Ali profile, okay? So whenever user click on it, you will get that ID, and we have to pass that. And also we have to pass the title to it since we are receiving it here, okay? So we must pass the ID and title to it. In that case, we can display the following list, follower list, and same for the likes. In case of like, we have to pass the post ID. That is, let's say, for user click on this likes, 2 likes for this photo. So each photo, this post has their own ID. So we will pass that ID and the title, which is like, okay? So let's just do that. We can say intent dot put extra, and make sure to use the same ID. As I told you, we are receiving it here as ID, so we must pass it by the same name, which is ID. Otherwise, you will get error. And the ID for this profile is stored inside the profile ID variable. And the same it will work for the other users. That is, let's say, if a user search for any profile, let's say Geo Parker. So if you click on it, then this profile has their own ID. So now when a user click here, then automatically we are getting that ID, this profile ID on the profile fragment, okay? Hope you remember that. We have already covered that in the previous tutorial, okay? Which is here. Get string, we are getting the profile ID, okay? Here you can see it. If the user want to navigate to someone's profile. We have already done that, so hope you remember that what this profile ID means. In case of the online user ID, it will contain the online user ID, and in order, if you want to navigate to someone's profile from the search or from the post, then it will redirect us to that page, so it will get that person ID, profile ID. So anyway, let's just complete this quickly. The second thing it needs is the title, and we must pass once again the same name, which is title. And the title we will write the same that we are using here in our statement, main statement, which is title, okay? Because on the basis of this title, this function will get executed. And for the followers, we have this followers. So copy it and paste that here. And now we can say, start activity for the intent. That's it. This is for displaying the followers. Let's just copy it, paste it down below. Now for displaying the followings, we have an ID. Which is this one, total following. Copy it and paste that ID here, okay, for displaying that. And for this we have a title by name following. So following. Now let's go to, let's set a click listener on our likes, which is for displaying the person who liked your post, which is this one, okay? So we have to go to the post adapter. In our post adapter, we have, let me just show it to you. We have this text queue, which displays the total number of likes. So let's come here to the onBind view holder. Okay, and inside our onBind view holder, let's just set a listener on our that. So we can say holder dot likes dot set on click listener, and we have to pass the same information. So copy it, come back to the post adapter, paste that here, and here we need to do some changes, and that is basically to pass the context, which is m context, and the profile ID we can get by using post dot get post ID. And the title for likes, in order to execute the function, it is by the name. You have to check it, which is likes. So, likes. And then start activity for that. By the way, it is our adapter class. We have to share that context, the start activity for the intent. So that's it. Now we are ready to test the application. So let's just write. Oh, here you can see the application is running now successfully. Okay, here we have this post. Here you can see this post has only one like, which I liked already. Okay, here you can see it. So if you click here on this, that will display only this one like. And since you know that if displaying or in order, we have implemented this feature that if you are following yourself, then only in that case you can see your own post. Hope you know that, which we are doing by default. Now, if you scroll a little bit, this post has 2 likes. Let's just click on it. Here you can see Muhammad Ali and Tony Stark. And also, if you click here, then here are these 3 IDs. Now, one thing which we need to do here is that from here, in the next video tutorial, what we'll be doing is that we will also, in the upcoming video tutorials, we will retrieve this following button, for the online user. That is, you know that I'm now an online user and this post is liked by these 3 people. So we will write some code which will basically invisible this button for an online user, okay? So that user cannot unfollow or follow himself from here. Because he is an online user, so he must invisible this button for an online user. So anyways, these are the things. And also we will implement other feature, which is if a user click on any profile here, then it will navigate the user to the profile page for that person, just like you did for the search. Now let's just come here to the profile, and here we have this, okay? So let's click here. So 2 followers now I have, which is the Tony Stark and Gia Parker. And then for the following, let's click on it. I have 3 followings. One is Jeff Parker, Muhammad Ali, it is my own self, okay, and Tony Stark. So as I told you in the next tutorial, for an online user, in the upcoming tutorial, we will also implement this feature that is to invisible this following or follow button for an online user, okay? So yeah, that's it for this video. And the next tutorial, we will be working on the notifications. Hello guys, welcome back. So in this tutorial, we are going to complete the notification fragment where we will basically display notification, that is when someone follow you and some new person follow you, or when someone comment on your picture, or when someone like your post. So we will be displaying all these. First we store to database and then we will retrieve and display that notifications here on the notifications fragment, just like you guys see in Instagram. So for that, what we're gonna do is, first of all, come here and let's just create a layout. Right click on layout, new layout resource file. First we have to create item layout for a notification. So we can use name as a notifications item layout. And it will be a relative layout. Do this. Click OK. So our layout has been created successfully. Come here to the text, and what we need to do is the layout width will be max parent and the layout height, make sure to change this to wrap content. And the margin, let's give some margin from all the sides to 60p. And now, next thing is to display the image, please also circular image view. 60 dp. Let's give some ID to this. So we can give ID to it as notification or file image. And then the next thing is to add some resource to it, which will be our profile, this thing. And yeah, that's it. Now the next thing is to add a variable layout where we will display the text forward, that is when someone comments, and also the username, etc. So for that we use a linear layout. Inside that we will add our, the controllers, the text strings. So anyways, let's just complete this. Make sure to close this, and then first of all, margin start 5 dp. Orientation for this will be vertical. Center vertical true. And we have to move this to end of this profile, so we can say to end of ID. Pass this ID to it. Here you can see it. Now next thing is to add quickly text view inside of this linear layout. So the first one is for text wrap content. Let's give ID to this. It will be for displaying username. So let's give it ID as username. Notification, username, notification, okay? And then the next one is, okay, let's just make the text style for this to bold. And the text color will be color primary. Sorry. Now let's just copy paste this text view. Paste this here, and here we will display. Let's give it ID as comment notification. So yeah. And one thing is to display here the picture in case if you like your picture or comment on your picture, so you must know that on which picture basically someone comment or like, so that you want to see that. So after this linear layout, we are going to use an image view to be 60 dp, 60 dp, and ID for this will be notification post image. And what we must do for this is to align it, to align parent and to true. Here you can see it. This is the picture. And we must move over this linear layout to the start of this thing. Okay, so for that, come here to linear layout. And what we're going to do is here we can say that to start off ID and pass this ID, which is notification post image. Just like this. Here you can see it. So yeah, that's it. Now, what we're going to do is to create our, come here and to create our model class for the notification. Here, basically, we will create the getter and setters of Kotlin file. This is our class, and the name of this will be notification. Click OK. And now here, we are going to create some variables. So the first one is our user ID. And by the way, we will store data in our database by the same name, okay, which is user ID. And sorry, I forgot to write it is Kotlin, okay. So private var string, it is not Java. And it will be of a string data type, so we have to give variable name to it. So name will be user ID. And let's initialize this with a null. Then we paste this thing 3 times further. So the next thing is private var for displaying the text. So give it text. Please make sure to use the same names, okay? Do not use any other variable there. Otherwise, you will get confused. I mean, I will be using some other variable and you will be using some other, so maybe you will get some errors. And this will be a boolean, so we can initialize this to give false. Now let's create our default constructor. Generate constructor there, and then a constructor with parameters. Select all of these, click OK, just like this. And now we have to set the getter and setter for each of these variables. So what I'm going to do is that I can just paste this and let's just change this. So we have user ID, so let's give it name as a user ID. Okay. And then we have the get user ID, so we can give it name as a get user ID. And the variable name is user ID. Now, so it will return the user ID. By the way, sorry in case, let's give this name to it quickly. Get user ID, and it will return the user ID, and then we have another variable which is get text. I mean in this, which is for getting the text, okay? So it will return the variable name text, and then we have two other variables. Let's also just set the getters for it. It is by name post ID and is post. So we can say get post ID, and it will return the post ID, user ID, text, post ID, and the last one is boolean. So for that we can use them as is his post colon. Make sure to change this to boolean, and it will return the is post boolean type variable. Okay, now let's just set the setup for all of these. So for that, we can say for set user ID. User ID, it is of string data type. Sorry for that. You can say this dot user ID equals to user, and then for the remaining ones, 3 times compress this. And now let's just change this to set user ID. The second one is set text. Pass the text to it. Okay. And then this dot text is to text. Then we have the set post ID, and the variable name is post ID. Ask the post ID here. And then the last one finally, which is our boolean for this post. So set is post boolean, and this post. So that's it. This is all about our. Make sure to check this one time. Okay, post ID is post text user ID. Okay, so yeah, that's it. This is our model class. Now let's just create an adapter for our notifications. So for that, let's just right click on the adapter, content file. Now I'll send the net. File will be notification adapter. Click OK. And now here it will receive 2 parameters, just like we did for the displaying the comments. It's trying the post. The first one it will be the context. That is, you give it name and context, and it will be of type context. And then the second parameter it needs will be the list, in which basically we will pass list of notifications to it. So let's give it name as M notification member, not he. The cycler view dot adapter notification adapter dot view holder. Now here we will create a view holder in which we will basically access our this notification item layout. So let's just create that inner class. Now for the time sharing, what I'm going to do is let's just go to the commits adapter. For here, from here we are going to copy this inner class. Now this is totally different. We are just cleaning it for the time saving, and we will change it according to our need for our notification. So first of all, this is our inner class view holder, recycle view holder item view. So we have an image view for displaying the post image, and it is of type image view. Then second, we have a circular image view for displaying the profile image. Let's give it name as profile image, and then we have a text view for displaying the username, and then the comment. Let's give it name as text. Okay, and now let's just copy this. Okay, so first of all, we have a post image, then we have a profile image, then we have username, and then text. Make sure to remove the IDs for this. come back here. Now here we have for the profile image, we have already this one. So make sure to give it its power IDs. And then for the post image, we have this ID. Post image. And for the username, we have username notification. And then the last one is the comment notification. So that's it. Now the next thing is we forgot to add the type of our this. This is our list. As I told you, you will receive this as this parameter is of type list. So and it will be basically the notification model class, which is this one. Okay. Now, some people get error. Make sure to select this one. I already told you guys, which is com example Instagram clone app dot model. Okay, hope you see that. Make sure to add that one. And now let's just move this to the next line. Okay, so let's create the required function that it needs. So you can just simply click here, and you will see this red book. Just click here, implement members. And then select all of these, which is on there, you get item and on by, and then click OK. And all these members are created successfully. These built-in functions, you can see our built-in methods. Okay, so let's just move the comments first. Okay, let's move these to your top, above this. Okay, and first of all, as you know that here in our own query, we have to connect our this notification item layout. Now for that, what I'm going to do is, instead of writing this all, can just copy this, come back, and press this here. Now we will change it according to that. So anyways, we can say mcontext from mcontext in flag, and the name of our that layout is notification item layout. Okay, and yeah, everything is okay. And now the second thing is here, and say notification dot size. It will return our size of the array list, how much item it contains. Now first, this is the, here it is displaying error. Okay, just click here. Okay, and change to constructor notation. Okay, sorry, we forgot to add these two braces, which are our round brackets. So make sure to add these round brackets at the end. Now before we proceed and retrieve the data, first we have to add that notification to the database. Okay, so for that, what we're gonna do is we need to go to our, let's just close this, we need to go to our comments activity first. And on our comments activity, when we say, let's create a function here, and we can give it name as head notification. Well, and this is our post reference. Instead of writing it, I am just going to copy this thing. So Firebase database get instance, and we have to make a reference to a post node, and we have to pass the publisher ID here, and it must not be null. We add these notations. Unnecessary non-nullization. Now let's create a hash map. So notification map, let's give it this shortener hash map. This hash map will be of type string, comma, any. Notification map. The first thing that we will save is the user ID. Now make sure to use the same IDs, okay? Because we have already used that in our model class notification, okay? I already told you guys to use the same IDs so that you cannot confused. So anyways, Firebase .uid. The second one will be the text. Let's just copy this, okay? So we have another one, child, that we are storing to database, and it will be commented, add a concatenation sign, this plus, and then we have to get the comment from our edit text field. What is the name of it? We have to check this. Let's just check this quickly. Comment, activity comments, and here, this. The ID, this is add comment, okay? So let's just copy this ID. Come here and we can now just get the text from this edit text dot text dot toString. Then we have to save the post ID. Post ID and store inside the variable post ID. And then the last one is the boolean is post. True. Now we have to call over this add notification method inside when we add the comment here. Here you can see above this we can just call that method which is our add notification. So every time when someone comment on your picture, it will add notification in the database. Now let's just go to let's just do it for the likes also. So go to the post adapter, come down to the bottom, and what we want to do is come here to the notification adapter again, and let's just, where it is, this one, comments activity. Come back to the comments activity and just copy this same method which is add notification and come back to the post adapter, okay? On our post adapter, we have to paste this function and let's just change this. And by the way, I think we have not changed our reference, we are not adding this information which is for adding the notification to the post. Not sorry for that. We got a mistake there, okay? This is our notification reference and we have not even added that to the database. And the name of this will be, let's create a separate parent node for all the notifications, okay? I'm really sorry for that. So it will be by the name notifications. So notification reference, and under the notifications, there will be each user. For each user, we have to save their own, their notification. So we have to pass the same ID, which is the publisher ID, here on our comments activity. And now we are going to add this whole hash map to the database under this reference, which is notification and that specific person. Okay, so we can just say that notification reference dot push. Now this dot push will create a unique key for each notification, okay? Dot set value and pass the notification map to it. That's it. Now once it is done, you can just copy this function now. This is okay? And now come back to the post adapter and remove the function that we earlier pasted, okay, and replace it with this one. So add notification, and here notification reference. Here we have to pass the user Firebase user dot UID. And string any, and we are storing the user ID. The text for this will be different. Remove this, and it will be use the same text, okay, please, because we will add conditions on that same text, that we are writing here, okay, for retrieving it. So like your post, please use the same things. And for the post ID, okay, we have to pass 2 parameters to this function on our post adapter. So first one we will have is the user ID. It will be of string type, obviously. And then the next one is our post ID, on which the user will comment, basically like the post, okay, and it will be of type string. And replace this, move this also, and pass the user ID to it. Same goes here. and post ID. Okay, this will be the Firebase user.u can only this one to the user, right? You will understand it when we, now call this function and pass these two parameters to it, okay? So Firebase user.u, like your post ID, and true. Now let's just call this function, which is add notification. Now let me tell you, this is the online user ID, okay? That is the person who is going to like someone post, okay? The same goes for the comment activity. When we say that here, that is the online person who is going to comment on my post, on my picture, okay? The online person who is going to like my post. So we have to save that person ID also to the database. On the basis of their unique ID, we will recognize that person. Now this user ID basically is the publisher ID. That is to whom that post belongs, on which this user is commenting. This user is going to comment or like, okay? So this is now the publisher, and this is the online user basically who is going to comment on this person, this publisher person, picture, okay? So let's just pass this, okay? Here, when a user click on the like button, where it is, you will understand it now more easily. When it says that, if the tag is like, and we are adding the like data to the database, now we have to call our function, which is add notification. And first parameter it needs is the publisher. Now to whom that picture belongs, so we have to pass that, and that is stored inside the post.get publisher. And then the second thing is the post ID. So post.get post ID. Hope you understand the difference, okay? And now last thing is when someone start following you. So in that case, what we will do. So we have to go to the user adapter. On our user adapter, let's go here and let's just copy this function, which is add notification. From the post adapter, just copy it. Now close this comment activity and user adapter, okay? Here at the bottom, we can just pass this, and it will receive only one parameter, which is string, user ID, and notifications, user ID, or base.uid, start. You will give this as start, started following you. And then the post ID for this will be none, and it will be, let's initialize this with a false. Because this is not a post, okay? This is post is a Boolean type variable, as you know that. And if it is the post, that is, let's say, in case of likes and comment, the user like someone post, that is picture, and the user comment on someone post or picture. But in case of followings, there will be no post. So that is why we are storing, we have to use this Boolean type variable just to differentiate between the following and the picture when someone like the picture or comment on the picture. Now let's just come here to the top, and when we say that holder.followButton.set on click list, and after inside this if statement here, okay, inside this if statement, here you can see it. We are going to call our function, which is add notification, and it needs one parameter, which is the user ID, user.getUID. Now let's just quickly go to our notification fragment. Also close the user adapter, and here we have our this recycle, and also let's just open the Kotlin file for our this fragment, notification fragment, and let's just quickly access our recycler view here. Let's give it name, and well, u equals to this, and then let's just return this view. Now we can add our recycler view, which is of type recycler view. You know what I mean? Let's come here to the search fragment. Instead of writing it, why not if we just copy it? Copy this close this and now come back to the notification fragment and just pass that here. So recycler view and the ID, make sure to change the ID for it, and the ID for our notification recycler view is this one. So paste that here. Now we need a list in which basically we can retrieve and save, which we can save over all the notifications from the database. So for that, here, let's just initialize our list. We can give it name as notification list. It will be of type list and pass the notification model class to it. Initialize this with a null. And also we have to create an instance of our notification adapter. Sorry, let's give it name small English alphabet, headed of type notification adapter. Initialize this with a null. And now come down here and here. We have to say that notification list is array list. And also we have to pass this list and the context to the notification adapter. So for that we can say notification adapter equals to notification adapter. And as you know, there are two parameters. One is the context. The second one is the notification list as array list. Notification model class. This one, okay? This is our model class. Sorry, here I just put two round brackets. Okay, just this. And let's set it on our recycler view. So recycler view dot set adapter, dot adapter equals to notification adapter. And now we are going to create a functions in which we can retrieve. We have to fill this notification list. From the data that we have in the database for all the notifications. So we have to read that. So we can create a function by the name read notifications. Let's just create this. And then in this function, let's just copy this reference. We are going to use it, okay? So notification reference, notifications, and here we have to pass online user ID. So Firebase auth dot get instance dot reference. So if I'm getting the current user, we say dot current user dot UID. And once we get that, let's just add child current listener checked colon value event listener next sure to current, and in here we have two functions on data change, remove the current, and the second one is on cancel, remove the current. Now, why is it displaying this error? Sorry, my mistake. It is not child event, add value event listener. Value event listener, okay? And then here, let's change the name of this to data snapshot. And if the data snapshot exists, then first we have to make sure to clear this notification list. Come down here, you can say, put these two round brackets and then pass there dot clear. By using the for each loop, we can say snap short in data snapshot dot children snapshot dot get value. notification class.java. Notification as a list got paired notification. Collections dot reverse notification list. Notification adapter dot notifier data set changed. So that's it. Now we have to go back to our notification adapter and we have to display this data. Okay, so inside our own bind view holder. Now, first of all, in order to get the user info, let's just go back to the user adapter, and I think here we have created a function to get the user info, not here. Come to the profile fragment, okay? On the profile fragment, we have created this function by the name user info. Just copy this whole function, come back to the notification adapter, and let's paste that function here at the bottom. And now we have to power three things to it. One is the image view, the second is the user name, which will be of type text view, and then the publisher ID, which will be of type string. So this function will receive three parameters on our notification adapter, okay? Image view and username text to publisher IDs. So we create a reference which is up to the user's node, and here change this to the publisher ID, because for here we are retrieving the publisher info for the online user. That is, let's say I'm an online user, someone follow me. So I must see his profile picture, his name, and all this stuff, or her profile picture, not name. So if the data snapshot exists, we are okay. Because of get user.getImage, we are adding the placeholder here, and we want to display that in our image view, which is by the name image view. And for the name, we have removed this get full name and all these two things. Okay, we just need to display the username that we are receiving here in the parameter, the text view, okay? Username.text and user.get user. So this is for user info. Now we have to create another one. Close the profile fragment, okay? This is our own notification adapter, okay? That we do the changes. One thing is to, in case of, if someone like your post, like your picture or comment on your picture, then we have to display the picture of that post also. Okay, on which the comment or like has been, the event take place. So for that, I guess we have already write a function on our comments activity, which is to get the post info, get post image, which is this one, okay? So just copy this same function, copy it, close this and come back to the notification adapter, and here at the bottom, we can just paste that function. Now we will change it according to our needs. So it will receive two parameters. One is the image view which is of type image view, and the second one is the post ID. So post ID, and it will be of type string. Let's just change this name to make it different little bit, okay? Capital D, I give it the name, okay? So that it must differentiate with the other name, just to make it different, okay? This is a parameter that this function is receiving. So we create a reference to the post node, and here we have to put child post dot child post ID and remove this child from here. So post reference, we add a value and list node. If this exists, then we say picasso.get.load image. So it is. Let's just come here and we have post your.get value as the post model class to it, and then post class.java. Okay, so it also post dot get post image dot placeholder and then dot into our image view. So simple and so easy. Now let's just call our get user info method here. Before that we can create instance. We can say notification equals to and notification position. Then you can call our method, which is the get. What is the name of it? Get user info. Call this function, which is void name user info if needs current. So the first one is our holder dot profile image. The second parameter is need is the username text view, so we can pass it. And then notification dot get user ID. Now we have to quickly add some validations for the like. We have to differentiate between the like, comment, and the following. And as I told you, in case of like and comment, we have to display the picture also, the post image also. So for that, let's just quickly write here a validation, which will check that if notification dot is post. If it is the post image, then we have to visible our post image view, which is by the name post image dot visibility, and the visibility for this will be visible. View dot visible. And if this is visible, then we have to display that picture also. And by the way, we are getting that inside our function, the function that we just created, which is by name just post image. So we have to display post image on that also. So we can say holder dot posting notification dot get post ID. These are the parameters that we are just passing to that function. Now inside the else statement, which means if this is not which means if its post is false, which means that if the notification is related to following, so in that case we are not going to display our post image view. So we will make this to gone. And for the here we can if notification dot get text. Now, as I told you, on the basis of that text that we store in the database, which you will also remember now, which was the same thing. That's why I told you to use the same text, which is started following you, okay? Yes, for the following, in order to know about the following. So that is, here we will write the code for our displaying the notification for the start following you. So we can just say holder dot text dot text equals to, and you can just simply display this, which is to tell the user that this person start following you. And then for the other one, you can just say else if it is equals to liked your post. So it is also, we have to write this also here. And I have to verify this thing. Okay, come back to the post adapter, what we wrote here. It is, so this text must be same to that condition that we are sending to the database. So change this to liked your post, okay? So have me say liked your post, liked your post. And then the other one is for the comment. So it is commented. Correct. And if I show you, then it must, so it is on the comments activity. If I show you, then this is, we are sending text as commented, okay? Now we are going to add a string function here, okay? Because it will contain this commented text and also the text that the user will write. Let's say, hey, this is beautiful picture or whatever it is. So instead of dot equals, we are using another string function which will check if this text contain this keyword, which is commented colon. So for that, we have a function by the name contains. This one. So if get text contains this keyword, which is commented and this colon, then we can say that holder or text notification dot get text dot replace commented with a new value, and that is basically the same value but with one space, and then the rest of the thing will display basically the like the comment will be like this now. That is commented and there will be some space, and let's say the user writing the text, that is, let's say, hey, this is a beautiful picture. So it will be stored in the database, and once we retrieve it, then it will replace that with like this style, okay? Commented and then some space, and hey, this is a beautiful picture. Hope you understand this. When we run the application, you will further understand this more easily. Else holder dot text equals to notification dot get text. Now, in case of notification, if a user click on the post image view, then we must display the full image of that post. That is, you will send it to the post detailed activity. And for the profile, if a user click on the user profile, then you will send the user to that user profile image. So for that, what we're gonna do is we have to write something. I mean, to share the preferences. So we can that if first we have to set a click listener on the item view. Dot set on click listener if notification dot is post. So if it is the post image, if it contains the post image, then in that case we can say, well, we have to go to the post adapter, and here I guess we use that code. So instead of writing it, we will just not here. Yeah, it is our come here to the my images adapter, okay? On the my images adapter, if you scroll here, then inside our own bind view header, you user click on the post image, we are sending the user to the post detail fragment. Sorry, before I said post detail 2D, but is post details fragment, okay? So I mean is to just copy this editor.apply. I mean all this shared reference code, just copy it from here. And now let's just come back to the notification adapter and just paste that here. Okay? And editor.put string post ID by using the same ID, okay? And notification dot get post ID. Get post ID. Editor.apply mcontext as fragment active gets verb.begin transaction positel fragment.commit. And we can, in case of the, if this is not the post image, then we will send the user to the profile fragment. So for the profile fragment, we have profile ID. Change this positel fragment to the profile fragment. And I think on the profile fragment we have not yet. Let me just check this. The profile fragment, we are receiving something or not? Yeah, profile ID, this same ID, okay? So it will send the user to here. Also, in the previous tutorial, as I told you that when we were displaying the likes, I told you guys that we will also enable the user to click on someone's profile and then you navigate, or you can say send the user to that user profile. So for that, come here to the user adapter, and here on the user adapter, when we say that holder.itemView.setOnClickListener, here you can see we have write this code which is for sending the user to the profile fragment. So first of all, we have already write that code, but if you click, then it will basically give you an error. I mean, it will crash the app, because here we have to add some condition, which is if is fragment. If this is fragment, then execute this code, which is to send the user to the profile fragment. Now we are ready to test the application, but before testing the application, let me tell you, this user adapter is related to the search. That is, my user search for someone, and from the search, if a user want to follow or unfollow someone, okay, then only for the notification will be waited for that. We have to, if a user navigate to the profile page of that person and then click on the follow button, then we have to write this, the same function that we are writing here, okay? We have to do the same thing on the profile fragment. So you just go to the profile fragment, and here when we say that when a user click on the follow button, if I show you, which is our, here we go, which is edit account settings button, okay, on the profile page. So if it is following, then first of all, make sure to copy from the user adapter, copy the same function, which is their notification, and then paste that function here, first of all, at the bottom. Okay, and remove this parameter from it. Call here one ready. The profile ID here is the user ID, profile ID. And once you do that, the next thing is to just come here, and here we click on the edit, which basically represent our follow and unfollow for the other users, the button, which is this one, view edit account settings button. So in case when we are setting the value, when we set the value for it, we are now going to call our add notification function here. Yeah, it is okay now. And let me just confirm this also. Save this if. So yeah, now we are ready to test the application. Let's just run it. So the application is running now successfully. Let's just go to the database. Okay, and here I am logged in as Gia Parker. Here you can see it. And currently I'm following Muhammad Ali. So let's just start from the following. Now I'm going to unlike this post, okay? And let's just start from the following. We can just test it for the following. So I just write M, okay? If you click here, first let's just unfollow, okay? So now we are testing the following notification. Let's just click on follow. And here we can see notification, and it has been added successfully, okay? Started following you. Now if you see, this is the person on which we clicked. That is this Muhammad Ali, okay? If you verify it, you can verify it from here. Muhammad Ali, Siam ZB. And user ID is the person who is now following Muhammad Ali, which is EN. The person who just clicked. I'm logged in now as Gia Parker, okay? And I click on Muhammad Ali. So hope you understand the scenario. Now this is from the search list. What if we navigate to the profile, okay? Let's just test that. Also, let's just remove this notification for now, okay? And I'm going to unfollow first. Now let's just navigate to the profile of Muhammad Ali, and if you click here, and from here it is also working. Here you can see it. Now the next thing is to test it for the like. So I'm going to like Muhammad Ali post. Okay, here you can see the second one is added, which is for the like your post. This is the post ID, and there you can verify it from post node. Okay, if you want. Here you can see it. LZ2I, which is this one. Here again, this post. Here you can see it. Also, let's just like this post. Here you can see another child array inside the notification. And now let's just test the comment. That is, if it is working for the comment or not. So, this is good font, let's say. Okay, and let's just publish. And here you can see notification has been added also alongside with that. Also, let's just click on, add another comment on another post. Now these are the old ones, okay, the old comments. As you know that we just added the code for the notification in this tutorial, okay, so it will display only the notifications for these comments. This one, this nice, okay, because this is the new comment and the well, we write the backend for the notification in this tutorial, so only it will display notification for this new comment, which is nice. Now what we're gonna do is let's just log out from here. I'm going to log out from your Parker account, and now let's just log in as Muhammad Ali so that we can see that if the comments are working or not. Let's just log in. And let's just go to the notifications, and here we go. Wow, this is incredible. So, Parker started following you, Parker liked your post, commented, this is good fun, and commented, nice. So the new notification will appear here at the top. Now, if we just click on this picture, okay, then it will send us to the full post, or you can say to the full picture. And the same is for the like. If you click anywhere on this item, it will direct you to that post. Also, if you click on the Parker started following you, okay, here we have a bug. Reason for that is we commit a small mistake on the notification adapter. If you come back to a notification adapter, if a user click on any item on the notifications page, notification fragment, then here you can see for the post, you are getting the post ID. For the profile ID, you do not change that. Really sorry for that, okay, which is to get the get user ID, okay? Just pass the get user ID to it. So once you do that, the next thing is come here to the user adapter, and just remember one more thing. Let's just compute this thing so that from the next video we will start on the stories. Here you can see when we say inside our user adapter, inside the function which is one bind view holder. If fragment, then execute this code. Otherwise, intent context, comma, and you go to the main activity class start Java. Context dot start activity for the intent, and we have to pass information alongside with that, which will be the publisher ID. Publisher ID user dot get UID. Now let's just run the application. So here is running now successfully. And now let's just go to notification. And now if you click here, then it will navigate into the profile page of Gia Parker. So yeah, that is incredible. Here you can see it. She's the comments now. Here you can see it. So that is working really nice. That is incredible. And now if someone follow you, and you click on the profile, then it will navigate you to that page. While in case of like, if you click on anywhere in this item, it will navigate you to that post. And also for the comment. So that's it for this video. And from the next video, we will start working on the stories.